All right, everybody. Oh, is it even working? Yeah, it is. All right, we're good. Another Monday. Today is August 31st before we go into fall, and hopefully we break out into the NFL and college football season. Well, part of the college football season. Now, I want to start off with I didn't want to make the Big Ten part of my top five today because there's nothing concrete in it. So before we get started with anything, I want to thank everybody for continuing to support us. We've hit a few milestones this past week. I mean, they're small, and you can kind of make milestones up here as you go along. But every brick is building a foundation, and that's why I'm grateful to everybody that's given us a chance. And even if you say, "Hey, you know what? These guys are fine, but not my cup of tea," it's all right. I appreciate you giving us a chance, no matter what. That's what's most important to me. Um, we're continuing to see more and more listeners every week. So speaking of that, our new episode has been dropped. It was out over the weekend, so please feel free to. It was uploaded midday on Friday, so please feel free to go and check that out. It's at the DH Podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever else. For those of you that are just joining us on the YouTube side of things, I try to have people bounce back and forth, but I feel like YouTube is a great way to introduce people to what we do. A great way to introduce people to what the podcast can be like. Usually, or actually not usually, all the time, on the podcast, I've got a co-host, Matt, with me. So this is a little bit similar to the podcast, but not exactly. So for those people that find us on YouTube, I always recommend them to go and check out an actual full episode to get a little more conversation, a little more back and forth, and then we like to hear people's feedback as well. So liking these YouTube videos if they're good, commenting, reviewing on iTunes, anything like that. I don't think you can review on Spotify. No. Nope. At least I don't think it. If you can, we still have none. So that's all right. I'm circling back, not starting with the Big Ten because there's no concrete news. Rumor mill was doing its thing, especially yesterday. They were doing a lot yesterday about what is going to happen in regards to the Big Ten startup. So a lot of people inside seem to think that not only will the Big Ten have a season because they were originally convinced that the ACC was not playing, and they were okay to make it 3-5 in favor of not playing, and they were okay to be on that side of the boat. But now they don't want to be in the minority. They don't want to be one of the two that is not playing. Pac-12, no whispers whatsoever. That's dead in the water. So watch the transfer portal for those kids, even if they give them an extra year of eligibility. Why would I waste my time doing nothing when I can get to the pros a year earlier when I'm still in the prime of my life? That just makes zero logistical sense for any of these kids, unless they're not good enough yet and they need that extra fifth year, or for them maybe a sixth year to get that job done. It's okay, sure, let them have it. Big Ten still has not had anything official, so watch out for that. Most likely, from what I've seen, people are still arguing just about scheduling alone, about how long it'll take to schedule or when can we schedule. Because if they're in conference, then now they have to only do in-conference games. And that's going to be difficult. There's also significant push from the inside, and this is going to be a domino effect to get Kevin Warren out of there. At least from this outside perspective, he's been an absolute bumbling idiot. Not answering questions in press conferences. Even if he were to come out and say, hey, this is what it's going to be, stop asking questions because we're not changing anything. I would have respect for that. Because would that be a jerk move? Yeah. But he doesn't even have the common decency to treat the people that are in the media rooms and that are here at home listening to what he says with enough respect to actually give us any concrete answers. All right. So now we're actually onto the topics. We cover 5 different topics, and sometimes we do stuff before and after, like I just did. Other times we don't, depending upon how I'm feeling. So the Hi5 just 5 important topics. They may not be the ones that are on the front page, but they're the ones that on the sports news we can see behind the scenes are happening. Something that happened this morning, so we're going to start off with Leonard Fournette, after 3 seasons with the Jags, was waived. So he is no longer a part of the Jacksonville team. We'll see where he goes. Some already hot spots to have him: Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Imagine him beside James Conner. That'd be absolutely ridiculous. So, as a Browns fan, I hope he does not go there. But it's very difficult to argue that he would be a good fit with that organization. Atlanta, the rich would keep getting richer. Go out to Arizona, match up. There are a lot of places where his skill set. By the way, folks, he's only 25. Only 25. So a lot of places where his skill set can match up. Number 1. Number 2, Jamal Murray. Mama, there goes that man. Balling out is a understatement. Not only did they win by 10, they beat the Jazz by over 10. He had dropped over 50, or no, he dropped exactly 50. So he went off. He's forcing a Game 7. So now I have Nuggets Jazz Game 7. They're going to be the longest first round game that we've got, and that's it. Number 2, Luka Doncic, Marcus Morris. It's been going on all series. I mean, if people can't see you can't see through the haze, you can't see through the smoke screens, then you're just blindly not trying to. If you know anything about the Morris twins, I mean, they've been arrested together before for beating the shit out of somebody back behind a high school parking lot. Again, these are guys that when they're on your team, you love how hardworking they are. Especially, I'm a Celtics fan, so I watched Marcus Morris. I loved having Marcus Morris on the Celtics. Just somebody that you knew would literally go to battle for you. In the series, he was stepping on Luka's ankle, hitting him in the face, doing a lot of really dirty stuff. Didn't get ejected for any of it. He went on a lot of tweet rants about, people that know me know this is the type of player that I am. I'm hard, but I'm fair. All this stuff. And then when he actually got exposed for being a dirty prick of a player, that's when he just went on Instagram and said, "Cry me a river." So clearly, if you don't think that his getting on his high horse a couple days ago was a facade, then you're just not trying to see it, or you're making excuses so wild that they don't even make sense. So it doesn't matter who it was against. It got more media attention because it was against one of the most prolific rising superstars that we have in the league. But it could have been against, Jamal Murray. Could have been against Delhi. Any player does not matter. Does not matter. That type of shit, inexcusable on any team, frankly. Number 3, we've got. Or no, sorry, that was number 3. We're on number 4, Padres. I'm actually pulling up an article right now because the Padres have done so much work this weekend because today is the trade deadline for the MLB. So what we're trying to make sure is that we can get a whole hell of a lot of things done. To start off, they got, and it's 4 p.m. today, by the way. So they got Mitch Moreland from the Red Sox, Jason Castro from the Angels. They went for Kansas City's Rosenthal on Saturday. And then they got catcher Austin Nola from the Mariners, part of a 17 deal. Let's see. Austin Adams, Dan Avila. They are raking in players for a huge playoff push. Huge playoff push. Of course, everybody loves Tatis. You also got Machado back out there, so he's been really quiet since he's been in San Diego. I think that's the way he likes it. This is probably going to be your new norm for Manny Machado. Not in the media, not doing a lot. He seems to really enjoy where he's at. And if they're adding all this young blood, they're going to have the youngest team, and they can continue to add and make that roster even more special. So watch out for the Padres, not just this year to be making a playoff push, but with these types of trades, they're clearly trying to make this a long-term success. Simple as that. All right. And then that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Number 5 to end it out. John Rahm gets a special shout out from us. 66-foot putt. Ice in the veins. To win in a playoff of the playoffs against Dustin Johnson last night. First off, Dustin Johnson also has ice in his veins. It was at least a 30-foot putt for him to force a playoff against John Rahm. And he did not even get a chance to counter Rahm's putt because it was already 2 strokes ahead and it was possible to get to. So, John Rahm ends up winning yesterday. He retains his number 1 status on the globe of golf. I don't know. I mean, usually you could say you could take a nap to this, but folks, that is not the case with this one whatsoever. That was an absolutely electric tour yesterday, especially those last few holes. So it's finally good to get some good golf back, but make sure while we're talking about the NBA, we're talking about the MLB, NHL, that these things are going on. You also got golf. It's been there a lot longer this year so far. So pay some due respect. Lastly, so we finished the 5. We did the intro. We'll do a little quick outro. I want to send our condolences to the Georgetown family. John Thompson Jr. There's a reason why he is incredibly beloved, not just as a coach of Georgetown, but as a person for the work that he's done in the community. And also, there is and I'm reading it right now, in the National Museum of African American History and Culture, he and Patrick Ewing have a portion for just the 2 of them where there's a Georgetown jacket because it's something that they both used to wear frequently. And because of how prolific they both were, that helped shape culture across America. So I believe he was in his 70s. Our condolences go out to the family. And it was clearly easy to see that he's a huge part of not just the Georgetown community, but the NCAA basketball community as well. Because when you try to think about historical figures, it's, can you tell the story of blank without them? So, can you tell the history of college basketball without John Thompson Jr.? No, you can't. You simply cannot. He brought Georgetown up. He helped Georgetown stay there. He brought in some incredible players. Also, Allen Iverson. So, when you know that you can't tell the story without somebody, that's taking, the phrase important to a new level. All right, everybody, that is your Hi5 from the DH podcast for August 31st, 2020. See you on Wednesday.